Hi, welcome back to Growth Catalyst Hub. Today is day 28 of the 30-day journey, the YouTube course on how to turbocharge your career that we are looking at. On day 28 today, we are going to look at what questions you should ask in that job interview. Yes, I'm not joking. There are people in the panel of interviewers who are going to ask at the end of the interview, do you have any questions to ask? And many times, it's surprising to see the candidate blinking and say no questions. What a waste of opportunity. So in today's episode, we are going to look at when that opportunity comes, what are the questions that you need to ask? Even when people are not asking, I think you should ask, pause and ask them, can I ask a couple of questions? They'll be very happy to answer. But what are the questions do you ask? That's what we are going to see in this episode. Let's dive in. A general outline of what and why you should ask. Why you should ask, let's talk about that first. When you ask questions, it's a pleasant way of sharing information from their side to you. And it also shows that you are curious. It also shows that you are fearless. It also shows that you want to understand, learn a little more about them. And who doesn't want to talk about themselves? All of us do. It's like that they want to talk about their company. They want to talk about the position that they are interviewing you for. They want to talk about what they have been doing, what their challenges are. They are willing to talk about most of the time. Are you ready to ask the question? That's what we're talking about. So here are a few questions that you should be talking about. Number one, I think you should talk about and ask about company culture. But there's no point asking, what is the company culture? That's not the question that you should be asking. You should be asking about things like, how does a typical day work out here? How do people work? Do people work on their project themselves individually? Do they come together? What are the challenges? What are the conflicts, if at all, you have seen when people come together? Does collaboration work here? Does individuality work here? Is it a culture where people are expected to toe the line? Is it a culture that I can stand up and ask questions even to the CEO? I think you should ask some of these questions so that you understand more about how the company operates. What is the gene code of that company? What is the culture of the company? Number two, you should ask about whom you will be reporting to and whom you will be working with. It is important to know about the kind of people you will be working, the roles of the people who are working that you are going to be working closely with. So it's an important question to ask in the interview. Whom are you going to report into? What kind of a person, what kind of a role, what kind of expectation that person might have? Because a lot of times, the person who's interviewing is not necessarily the person you are going to report into. Or it's only one of the persons who is interviewing you, 5, 6 people may be interviewing you, and only one person whom you are reporting into. So it's good to ask that question. And it's also good to ask about the team that you are going to work with. Is it called cross-cultural team? Is it the same team, finance department, marketing department, sales department? Is it predominantly within that department? It's important to understand that team structure. Number 3, it's important to understand the performance expectation. It's important to know what does success look like in this company. You should ask them, what is success? Is it, and how is success measured? Is it measured yearly basis? Is it measured quarter on quarter? Is it measured every single month or every single week? How is it measured? What is success for them? When do they celebrate? When do they become despondent? What are the key metrics? And how are you going to be measured? What are going to be your success measures in the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days of your career in that company? You should ask them and understand that. You should also ask about awareness for growth. The way to ask is, for people who get into this role, what kind of growth opportunities, growth avenues are available? What are the next steps for them? How does growth look like for them in terms of next position, and so on? How long does it take typically? If the employee is bright and does, on an average, very well on all the key parameters. So that also gives you an understanding of what to expect from here to next steps. So it's an important understanding. Ask for it so that you get it. A few other questions that you may want to ask. what are the challenges they face? What are the goals? What are the opportunities? What are the challenges? One of the ways to ask is there something that keeps you from sleeping well in the night? What are the challenges? Even if there are anxieties, I don't sleep well. Even if there are huge adrenaline rushing through, if I seek great opportunities, I don't sleep well. So both positive opportunities, negative challenges are going to be opportunities for anyone who is coming into the department, into that role, into that company. And therefore, it is a good idea to ask about that. So what are the challenges the company is facing? What are the growth opportunities that the company is looking at? What are some of the things which are expected from this role to solve for those company level responsibilities? It may be a small role it may be a small entry level role that you may be getting in, but what is it that you can do to help the company achieve that? These are some of the questions that you should ask. One thing you should not ask is about your salary. That comes much later. And that is a discussion that you should be having with the HR department and not during the interview time. There's no point asking about salary. There's no point asking about how many days of holidays are given and so on, so on. All of these are HR discussions after you are offered the job. So let's summarize what we have talked about. Some of the things that you should be ready and you should be talking about are: one, understand about the culture of the company. Two, understand about what are the performance indicators, what is celebrated as success in the company. Then you understand what are the key performance indicators for somebody like you, your role for you, if and when you are selected and coming into the company. What are the success factors for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, indicating that you are on the right pathway? What are some of the things which are keeping them from sleeping well? What are the challenges they are facing? What are the opportunities that they are seeing? And what is it that your role, however small, however entry level it may be, can pitch in to solve for these problems, whether they are challenges or they are opportunities? When you ask some of these questions, they are going to be pretty happy with your curiosity, your enthusiasm, and your energy levels. And I'm sure you will be cracking that job interview. Wishing you all the very best. And I'm sure you like this episode. Please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. See you in our next episode.